Come to my party.
Junhan.
It's my birthday on Saturday. You're invited.
I would love to be there. Where is it?
At our home at 7.
7. I think I have to be at the hospital, but let me see what I can do.
Great. I can text you the details.
Uh-huh.
Wait, I want them to be together already.
I know, fall in love,
You
get
know
married.
we love love. Okay, a new film is giving a rare look at the everyday life in modern Iran through the lens of a love story. Cast Aside the Clouds follows a young woman and a doctor whose relationship challenges their beliefs and forces them to confront difficult truths.
You could see that in the eye roll of Dad. We're joined live in studio by the film's director and writer, Mary Darling. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's such a pleasure to be with you two lovely ladies.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
So that scene, I feel like, kind of tells the whole premise of the story, right?
It does. I mean, it's a love story. The parents are trying to figure out how this is going to work between a young Baha'i woman and a Muslim doctor kind of getting into a relationship. And both families sort of have ideas about who they should potentially be with. So they have to figure that out.
I think we had some ideas already. We were both already invested. What I love is this is based on some real life experiences. What made you and your husband write this?
You know, there's an increasing pressure right now in the world. We see Iran in the headlines all the time, obviously, and we see Iran in a certain way. It's not in a way that we think would be modern or cosmopolitan or beautiful. And that's part of what really drew us to the project, is we saw these two characters as very young and normal, ordinary people like us.
Right.
And we thought a love story could convey not only the story of what's happening in Iran with the Baha'is, but just the story of Iran with the human beings who live there.
So I'm glad you said, if people aren't familiar, you hear Muslim, a lot of people know the Muslim religion. Talk about what Baha'i is and kind of why her being with a Muslim man might not be looked upon so fairly.
So in the middle of the 1800s, Baha'is believed there was another messenger of God who appeared in Iran, of all places. And if you understand that sort of relationship with Islam, sometimes they think Muhammad is the end. It's the end of that cycle of messengers. So for there to be a new messenger, people might think that's heretical or a problem. And you see some characters in the film who feel that or convey that. But really, it's not. It's a modern, new religion with teachings for the modern world. It just happened to manifest in Iran. But most of the Baha'is in the world are outside of Iran. There's Baha'is in Iran who suffer extreme persecution because of that history of the faith originating there. But most of the Baha'is in the world are outside of Iran. So it really shouldn't be a problem. The teachings are about the advancement of humanity, a time of fulfillment, really, where we see lots of optimism on the horizon if we can actually come together as a human family.
That's what I was going to say. We are humans. We're not the best at that all the time.
We're not very good at that, right? We tend to kind of go the opposite direction. But if you have some framework you can work where everybody's working together to try to build something new, I think we can see in the world that there's a need for that today.
Yeah, and I can see that's what you're doing in this story. I think everyone's attracted to a love story. I think there will be people who relate to the movie or relate to Iran, and that's why they're watching it. But then I think in your answer, there's going to be a lot of people who can learn from this.
Exactly, and we found that as we've been going around the festival circuit, that many people just don't know actually not only what is the Baha'i faith, but why are the Baha'is persecuted in Iran? So that doorway in really led us also to tell it through a love story.
So what do you really hope people take away from this? Because there's so many different aspects that you're pointing out here.
Do you know, it's interesting. I think the main thing is there's a character in the film that says people are like seeds, that a seed has in it the capacity to become a tree, but it needs some external force. It needs sun and rain to grow and become a tree. But then he compares that. He says we are also like seeds, that we have the capacity to change. And I think the main ask, if there is an ask from the film, it's that we actually look at what we need to cast aside. You know, cast aside the clouds is a line from a Persian poet that wrote this line in the middle of the 1800s again. And she's talking about casting aside the clouds of ignorance and oppression. And so what are those things that we have to get rid of in order to really discover that we're one human family living on a very small speck in the universe?
I love that. A big message and a lot of hope in this film, because you're going to challenge some people's beliefs, challenge some of their assumptions. And as we know, it's hard to change people's minds, but you seem hopeful that a film like this could do that.
I think story can open people in a way that most things can't.
Right.
So walking through the door, sort of through a love story and getting people in a conversation where you're just human together. People are just human together. It breaks down all of those assumptions and things that we actually think divide us, that you realize when you spend time with people. Usually there aren't.
That's what
there aren't
happens.
many things.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what
You break down
happens.
those walls. Well, Mary, darling, you are darling.
I
Thank you so much for
know
being
you are.
here. You have the perfect name. The LA premiere of Cast Aside the Clouds is tomorrow night at the Lumiere Music Hall in Beverly Hills. It is sold out tomorrow night, but you can still see it there through June the 11th. For more information and how to get tickets, just head to cbsla.com/sceneontv.